Live. Hello, people. I'm Tisnina. It's just a small hair rant or story, or however you choose to look at it, approach it, or whatever. I'm a natural hair technician. My focus is natural hair. That's strictly hair that grows out of your scalp. I no longer do any weaving or extending of natural hair. I focus strictly on foundation, aka base, natural hair and scalp. That's it. On today, I had three really interesting and kind of like low-key discouraging interactions. Two of them with children and one with a mother. And there's an understanding that I'm coming to, as so many of us are career women or boss ladies, or we have jobs that have us in the air as flight attendants or on the road as truck drivers, or whatever we're doing for a living to provide for our children. But in the act of becoming focused, a small thing, which is really a great thing when it comes in my direction, that's been occurring is I have a lot of mothers approaching me saying that they don't want to deal or they cannot manage their children's hair, which leads to a lot of mothers doing things prematurely to their children's hair, like putting relaxer on little boys so that we can comb their hair, or putting too much extension or weave on a little girl. And a lot of times these hairstyles are done because the mother says she don't have time, or no one has time to focus on the hair. In the act of doing everything so that we don't have to deal with anything, a lot of us are damaging our children's hair. Today I met an 8-year-old little girl who has the hairline of a 50-year-old man. And it's only because the amount of weave and extension that her mother has been hanging on her hair. This is why I stress the importance of seeing an educated professional versus just a do-hair lady. I know I'm gonna get it in my inbox for saying what I say, but you should be seeing someone that's educated in trichology, aka cosmetology, or hair, or however you want to express it. We should be seeing someone licensed when it's time to deal with our hair. It's understandable that it's not always in our budget to go see someone weekly or even bi-weekly, but maybe if you can do it every 3 months or seasonally or something like that. But the amount of children that are suffering because we don't have time to do their hair is overwhelming, especially when it comes to my chair and I have to repair it in one sitting. The devastation on the 8-year-old girl's face when she hear you explaining to her mother that her hairline is pushed back. Little girls do not need extensions. They don't need braids down to their butt. They don't need relaxers. They don't need anything other than to be the little girl. When the quicker we adjust little girls to going to the beauty supply store and buying an extension or a bag of hair, that will become their identity. And they won't see themselves as themselves, or cute or beautiful or pretty, without the extension, because we have adjusted them to wearing extensions. Hair, I know y'all gonna hate me for saying this, but black hair is not really supposed to be lasting for 2 months. That's neglect. Imagine not washing part of your body for 2 months. This is what we are doing when we don't shampoo our hair for months. I don't know how we can get it back. Well, I kind of do. If you find a natural hair tech, you need to be okay with simple hairdos. That's just pigtails, puffs, ponytails. If you can't work the child's hair, please try and find styles without extensions, especially before puberty. Hair changes in life. You have hair that change. You have hair that you're going to have from the age of 2 to 5, and then from 5 to 8, it'll be different hair, and then 8 to puberty, it'll be different hair. Then puberty through adolescence, like, as long as our hormones are changing, our hair is changing. We need to stop doing premature things to the children's hair. There is no way that a 10-year-old boy should have a relaxer. That's unacceptable. And then y'all relaxing it one time and not going back with follow-up relaxing or deep condition or anything. We need to go back to where we are combing and shampooing and conditioning these kids' heads at least once a week, like our parents used to do. We're going to go back to the time thing, and everybody got to get money and be professional and all of that. But it's a priority. Hair is a priority. Hair is the frame of your face. So hair should be a priority every week. Going 2 and 3 months or whole summers with braids and no shampoo is neglect. You're going to be mad at me, or you probably already mad at me for saying it. It is what it is. It's poor hygiene and it is neglect.
So you're saying the people not teaching their kids to love themselves?
You don't teach your child to love themselves when you take them in a beauty supply store every time it's time to do their hair, and you telling them to pick a bag of something that didn't grow out of their head. If you learn to accept yourself first and treat yourself right, then you need less additional things to make you feel good when you look in the mirror. Everything I do is natural. My nails are real. My hair is natural. Everything I do. I went through a stage where I was doing a lot of fake things, but they were also destructive. I was losing hair while I was attaching hair. It wasn't a protective style. Protective styles are no longer protective when you do them repeatedly. Constantly, if I'm hanging 6 ounces of hair off of 3 grams of hair, what am I doing? I'm stressing out the hair and the follicle that I attach the hair to. If we doing this to 5-year-olds, by the time they're 8, they have the hairline of a 40-year-old man. And by the time they're 15, now they need a whole wig and a sew-in because you started prematurely weaving your child. Like, that's just what it is. If she's sitting down on her hair and she's snatching it back, like, that's damaging. Like, weave is okay sometimes, but Black people have developed a codependency on it. And a lot of us don't feel like we look good without extra hair. It just is what it is. We're not learning how to work our natural curl pattern. We're not learning how to live out of being ourselves. Every time a Black girl is ready to get her hair done, she got to go to another ethnicity store to buy a bag of hair to make herself feel good. That's not teaching good self-esteem. That's not teaching confidence. And that's something that we should start doing by being natural with ourselves. This whole everybody got to be a boss chick and everybody got to get money, we kind of neglecting things.
We neglecting the simple, smaller things.
The simple, small things that when you have the most damaging thing a woman says to me, and this gets said to me at least 3 times a day. I need to not have to touch my child hair. But this is your child. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to. Why you want me nurturing and babying and, you know, but then it's like, she's like, well, I have to be at work. So I just heard you on the phone saying you about to turn up. How about if before we turn up, we comb this baby hair and shorten our time outside? We've made so much more important than ourselves. When it comes time to deal with ourselves, we got to do it quick. That's why we got to have a weave and we got to have a wig. And we got to have braids because we don't want to deal with ourselves. People who don't want to deal with themselves will never be better. I was obese. If I didn't want to deal with myself, I couldn't lose weight. In order to be your best, you have to put in the work. And that means taking care of your natural hair. It's becoming a drain on my spirit. Because at first it was just looking at women. Like, looking at a 32-year-old woman with no hairline. That was one of my first experiences in the hair industry, was having to tell a woman that she was damaged and it wasn't coming back. So to look at an 8-year-old girl and to know what's ahead of her, and then to look at her mother and she say, I don't have time to fix it, it's a very discouraging thing.
Cool, mommy. That'll be the part 1. We'll be back with part 2 on another day.
I don't want a part 2. I just want y'all to comb these kids' hair. You gotta shampoo it, you gotta condition it, and you gotta detangle it.
We at 11:11.
Okay. Thank you.